Been a couple of weeks since you've seen me, I suppose. I had COVID. I think I'd rather have COVID than watch that from Manchester United. First game since Norwich on the 11th of December. We had a full 2-week period. Of course, it's been disjointed because of COVID and training ground being closed. But wow, Manchester United there today have made Newcastle look fantastic. We made Norwich look fantastic. That was a performance that I would argue was shambolic. I would argue there that if there was one team that you thought was going to get relegated this season, it would not be Newcastle. United, we were better in the second half. Yes, Cavani, we'll speak about him. We'll speak about individuals. But overall, man, that performance there, Rangnick better be going in there and, I don't know, slapping some heads together because it was shambolic. Gary Neville was right at half-time and he was saying the players were whinging. Ronaldo, Bruno, throwing the hands up in the air. It was basics, utter basics. The whole concept of this 4-2-2 formation, and the reason it works when you're in attack is that you press together, you win the ball high up the pitch, and therefore the team is out of organisation and out of shape. That's how the system works. United did not press today. Not really. Nothing. If you compare how Man United played after one training session against Crystal Palace, where we looked quite organised, we looked good, and you compare that to how we played against Norwich and how we played there against Newcastle. The two shittest teams in the Premier League, and we've made both of them look very, very decent. Newcastle there will feel aggrieved. Rightfully, I would say, aggrieved to come away from that game with a point. I thought United were fortunate to get a point. I thought United, to a man, apart from David De Gea, wow, there's an incredible save at the end there. He really is he's back towards God level, isn't he? What are United doing, man? Like, if you look at, let's compare Liverpool playing Spurs, and Spurs had a couple of weeks break going into that game, and you see how much sharper and how much fresher they were, and how much great game, great performance from Spurs in that game anyway. And you compare that to United there, a couple of weeks we've had since that Norwich game. You're thinking, right, we can finally start to see the Rangnick ball. We can start to see this system that everyone's playing in. Instead, everybody was hungover. I don't know what we were doing there today, but it was embarrassing. Varane, first game back in. Let's get the player ratings up. This is from SofaScore, giving Varane a 7.3. I thought Varane, bad mistake that got punished for the goal. Great goal from St. Maximin, who was probably man of the match. Actually, no, saying that, Joe Linton somehow looked like Iniesta in midfield, which made no sense whatsoever. Varane was poor. Maguire was poor. Our whole defence was poor. Actually, no, they were okay. I thought Teddy played quite well. That ball into Cavani, fantastic cross from him. I have no idea how Cavani did not make a chance from that towards the end. In midfield, Bruno Fernandes, right? What do you think about Bruno's performances this season? I think he absolutely sums up Manchester United because his output is still there. The goals and assists that he continues to return are fantastic. But his overall individual performances in the games, I mean, they're far from fantastic. Moments FC that's Manchester United and that's Bruno Fernandes. But everywhere, man. Cristiano Ronaldo. Look, as I said, he looked a bit fucked, I'll be honest. He did not look in peak physical condition. That's what I would say from that game. But Rangnick's got to go in that dressing room now and crack some skulls, because I was expecting to see something today from United that I didn't. It was the complete opposite, the complete and utter opposite. I expected to see United come, as I said, in more of the system, more of the shape. It had been a couple of weeks now that Rangnick has been in the training ground. Chris Armas has joined. But instead, Manchester United were just, it's basics. It's utter basics when it gets to like being first to the second ball, being committed into the tackle. It's these sort of stupid things that you shouldn't really have to have a conversation about when you're talking about professional Premier League football players. Utter basics. You shouldn't have to, as a fan, you shouldn't have to ask where this is. You should just, it's an absolute expectation, the absolute minimum, complete minimum that you should all expect from Manchester United. And we just did not see that today from any player at all, really. And as I said, if you're looking at Rangnick's decisions at half-time, he took off Fred, I believe, and he took off Mason Greenwood, brought on Cavani and brought on Sancho. They obviously made, it was, the subs were vindicated, I suppose. You know, Cavani got his goal, great movement from him. No one really has that sort of movement. The more frustrated Ronaldo got in that game, the deeper Ronaldo dropped. It's basically just like, give me the ball. If you're going to fuck it up that much, I'll try and do it myself. But it didn't really help. No one really knew what they were doing. The 4-2-2 system, what's your opinion on it? I like it personally. I found it very, very odd that Marcus Rashford started on the right-hand side of it. I don't like Rashford on the right. Rashford on the right will never, ever work. Ralf, don't waste your time, all right? Should be starting Jadon Sancho there, or maybe Donny van der Beek there. But I don't think that game there is about... There's no point getting pissed off about the starting 11. It's not really... There's no point really getting pissed off at individual performances. It was just an atrocious overall team performance. From front to back, everybody played the same. And there wasn't really anybody who tried. I mean, Cavani tried to drag people upwards in the team upwards, and there was a minor improvement in that second half. We're talking minor, though. We've literally scraped a 1-1 draw against Newcastle, who have been gashed this season. Newcastle and Norwich, bottom 2 teams in the Premier League. We scraped that win against Norwich. Really, we did. It was a 1-0 win. That was a penalty. It was a game where we didn't really have much control. Control was the big word for Rangnick. That today there. It's the complete opposite. That is not control. And I'm going to be staggered if there's not a massive reaction from Rangnick inside that dressing room. I think, he's at this point, he's still probably being slightly softer. He's still giving people opportunities, the problems that everyone's having with COVID, X, Y, Z. But after seeing that today, he has to be absolutely fucking furious with those players because his job is on the line. Of course it is. He wants that. I know that he might tell you differently. Actually, no, he didn't tell you differently. He said the same thing. I think he wants the job full time at the end of it. And the only way he's going to do that is if he gets this team playing properly inside his system. And the players just did not do it there today. There's no excuse. It's not really a fully fit team. We don't know what the impact of COVID has been inside the dressing room on the players. Mate, I've fucking had COVID. And it's killed me. It's wiped me out. And it's the third bloody time I've had that fucking thing. Anyway. So yeah, I personally know the effects of COVID. I couldn't do standard things. I couldn't face sitting here and talking to you on the camera. So I understand if there's going to be effects of COVID inside this team and the players and X, Y, Z. But there's just no excuse. There is no excuse for that performance there today against a bang average Newcastle team who might get relegated this season. But judging from that performance and judging from Norwich's performance against United, well, you may as well just play United every single week. I'm angry. I'm really angry because after such a long break without football, you think, okay, well, maybe we're going to start seeing things come together. But somehow we were more organised as a complete team and a unit as against Crystal Palace after one training session under Rangnick than we have been now under 3 weeks of it. And it makes no sense. It's about application, it's about basic standards, and it's the opposite of what you've seen from United today. I think in all the games, if we're being completely honest, Crystal Palace was the game where we had the most control, and then we've had Young Boys was the 1-1, so it's 2 1-0 wins and 2 1-1 draws for Ralf Rangnick as United manager so far. What's your reaction to that game today? As I said, I think they should be pretty damn embarrassed because I would go as far as to say that was a shambolic performance. I don't think there was any positives you can really take from that first half. The second half, of course, you can get the positive of Eddie Cavani coming off the bench and getting the goal because he is absolutely beautiful and he's absolutely mustard, isn't he? I love Cavani. As a player, will he stay? I don't really know. I don't really care. If I'm not going to get too dragged down into that. Jadon Sancho came on. He made a bit of a difference. I'll be honest. I think he looked quite good. I enjoyed watching him, but I'm scraping the barrel here, man. I'm scraping the barrel. Harry Maguire, man, what are you doing? Harry Maguire, jeez. And Raphael Varane. Everybody, as I said, the Varane's first game back in. You're going to say, needs a little bit of time to get back in, blah, blah, blah. But as I said, there could have been 2 reactions, really, from this extended break. Could have been that United had pure sharpness, really rested, ready to go, excited to play, excited to impress the manager. But instead, it was a complete utter opposite. No sharpness at all. Almost lackadaisical in their approach. No real desire to be first at a second ball. Pressing wasn't there. I didn't see anything there really today from a team collective performance that Rangnick's going to take to the training ground tomorrow and say, look, yeah, you did that well. It's going to be, the whole game was shit. The whole game was bad. And his job ahead is huge, if that is anything to go by. And there's no Solskjaer to blame anymore. There's no Carrick to blame anymore. There's no McKenna to blame anymore. You can still blame Mike Phelan if you want, and I would say he's partly responsible. But that today there was just it's pure evidence of the lack of application inside this squad. And that's down to the players themselves. No manager's going to be changing that. Or you can change it, of course, you can try. But the players have to want to fucking do it. That was bad. That was shambolic. As I said, I'll go as far as saying shambolic. Let me know what your match reaction is in the comments below, as always. Please, if you would, Subscribe to United People's TV. I'm hopefully going to be back to normal now. As I said, COVID has wiped me out over Christmas. Really is no joke that. Ruined my Christmas. And I'll tell you what, I think I'd rather have COVID than watch that.